Welcome to the channel. Today is our 200-mile-ish review of this Meelod DK300PRO. Just a quick overview because we already did a full review on this bike. It is of course, a moped-style e-bike that is dual suspension and dual battery. You have 750-watt hub motor that peaks to about 1200 watts, 30 amp hour system with two 15 amp hour batteries. And you have a dual crown front fork. You have hydraulic disc brakes. And that's a pretty down and dirty rundown of this bike. For the 200-mile review today, we want to kick it off with something a little spicy. We have put a trailer mount on here, and right now we're out here in the desert on the border of California and Arizona, and there is a pretty steep little dirt hill behind us. And this cart is a Burley cart that we got off Facebook Marketplace that we have ripped the child protective cover off of and put a Prusik on here with a carabiner so that we can put our dog in here. And we use this little cart behind this for the last couple of months to not only pull our dog Mona over here, but also we use it to, we put water cans in here because we live full-time in a camper. We put water cans in here, we put gas cans in here, and it's super handy to go get groceries. And this thing's done phenomenal pulling those things. Also, some people wonder, how do e-bikes hook up to a trailer? And I just want to show that really quick. This is basically the safety chain, kind of like, or a safety strap, like a safety chain on a car trailer. And how this works is that this nut comes off, this 19mm nut on this Meelod. You just pull that off, and then this goes in. It's kind of like a big washer, and then you bolt it back down. So I bought this one off Amazon, and it just said 4 bikes and e-bikes, and it worked. And this piece just slides in here now, and then a pin drops down to hold it in place. And that clips on to hold the pin kind of as a safety, and then you put your safety chain back on. And that's pretty much it, just trying to make sure to keep it out of your disc brake. And that's it. And this has been a really awesome setup for us, both pulling our dog and using this as just a utility trailer with, again, our 6-gallon water cans and groceries. But let's kick this review off. It's about 75 degrees outside, and we're gonna see if it can pull, no pedaling, 50-pound dog, 180-pound me, up this desert hill right here. That's a good way to start off our 200-mile review. Let's be test weight. Let's get in here. Come on, good girl. Good girl. Gotta scoot back just a little. There you go. All right. To be fair, or to be honest, I have not ridden up this hill with her in here. We've only been camped here for a little while, so I have ridden the bike up the hill, but not pulling the trailer with her in it. All right, gonna give it on pedal assist 5, and let's see if it can do this sandy, washy, gravelly road out here in the desert. The other consideration with pulling a trailer is I'm not going as fast as I can. I'm just giving about a quarter throttle because it's so bouncy back there. For her, this particular section of this road is very rough and rocky, and I really wanted to use it as a test road because I can't use just pure momentum to come up through here pulling a trailer without bouncing her out. You know, she has no suspension in her trailer. So that little section was actually far easier than I thought it was going to be. This thing just walked up it. And again, I'm only using about a quarter or an eighth of the throttle turn here. That road did get the camera a little cattywampus. You can really tell the difference between something with suspension and something without when you start pulling this trailer. You hear it chattering around back there. And with these balloon tires on this bike and the front and rear suspension, the bike's silent, but the trailer sure is bopping around. But it's actually doing this far easier than I thought. One last little kick up incline right here. And again, I'm not giving it full throttle. I'm not letting momentum cheat here because I'm trying not to bounce the trailer around. If I could have had momentum right there, this wouldn't have been a problem, but we're still moving. No pedals. That's incredibly impressive. That was only about 2 miles an hour, and the trailer was going wide open. Only about 2 miles an hour. Try to keep that trailer from bouncing around in the real rough rocks. And what was impressive about that is I've had some other e-bikes that when you get them about 2 miles an hour and you're wide open on the throttle, you'll get a code, you'll overheat it really quick, and that did not happen. And that's even pulling the trailer, so I'm very impressed by that. You did a good job. That's very good ballast. You made good ballast. Speaking of codes, I have not had this bike throw a code yet. I've had a lot of e-bikes that will throw random codes and then you turn them off and turn them back on and they're fine. And this bike does not. So that's about 13 miles an hour right there, pulling a trailer, and that's just throttle's barely open. That's a good comfortable cruising speed with a trailer. I don't know if you can tell on the camera or on the drone, this is very soft sand, very small, fine gravel. And these fat tires just float over it. Trailer's making a lot of chatter, but the bike isn't. I'm 5'10", and this bike is a really comfortable size for me until I go to pedal. Pedaling on this bike is a little bit, it's an e-moped style bike. It's not meant to pedal. Now, if you stand up and pedal, then it's really nice. Again, you feel like you're a Stranger Things kid riding your BMX bike, and that works really well. But as far as from the seated position, the pedaling's not the best. The pedaling is good enough, however, though, for climbing a steep hill and you just need to give the bike a little bit of help, then the pedaling position's completely adequate, because you never need to give this bike that much power. If the hill's really steep or long and you're pulling a trailer, you never need to give it that much torque from your legs to get up over the obstacle. But again, I think by far the best way to ride this bike is like an electric motorcycle. You can still pedal it to keep you legal on a bike path, but I think by far the best way is to ride it like this, like an electric motorcycle. This is a pretty steep little hill right here. I am going to give a little bit of speed. That's about 13 miles an hour. Pretty washboarded out. We'll see what it does without giving any pedaling. It's maintaining 7 miles an hour. Pretty impressive, still pulling the dog trailer. It's a 50-pound dog plus the weight of the trailer. That's really impressive. And again, no codes, no overheating. So again, the cons, the taillight still doesn't work. We did contact Meelod about that. We said the taillight only works as a brake light. It does not work as a taillight. That was an issue in our first video. We did contact them and let them know that we found the seat to be very uncomfortable. So we did let them know that, and I think they are going to be working on maybe some remedies to that. I don't know what, they didn't tell us what exactly. But as far as the bike working and having any issues, we've not had any issues whatsoever. No codes, no broken crank arms or bearings going out. Everything seems to work really well. I would be curious to try this. Meelod also makes the same bike with a dual motor setup, and we haven't had any issues with power out of this single motor setup, and I'd be very curious to see how this bike did out here in this loose, sandy gravel terrain with a dual motor. I've never ridden a dual motor e-bike, but that would be something neat to check out. But it's spendy. You are going to pay for that extra motor up front.
That's the Max, right?
Yeah, I think it's the DK300 Max. Did you have a good time? Is that a fun e-bike? So here is where I put spacers. This seat should be touching here, And instead, in here, I've put spacers around all 4 bolts to kind of pick it up a little bit. And this is where you could bolt on a more comfortable, like mini bike style seat. Yeah, they're about $100. Maybe you can live with this. Maybe it's just the anatomy of my cake that doesn't lay right on this, but your cake might be different. So maybe you don't need to try that. It's also neat, this frame has a lot of little embossings with threaded holes. Looks like you could add some more stuff. We never did. Same down here. That might be a cool place to add a little bag. We never touched it. That's my only real gripe out of this Meelod so far. So out of 200 miles, mostly off-road, and a lot of it pulling a dog trailer. It's done really well.